Okay, some of y'all were asking me to show you what I bake my sourdough bread in. Now, you can bake your bread in just a regular Dutch oven. This is what I bake my bread in. Lots of times I make them 4 loaves at a time, especially if I'm doing it for an event or giving as gifts. But also I have this, it's a crustic, it's actually called a bread oven, and it's really just it's just kind of like a Dutch oven that's turned upside down. So you got a thinner bottom and then a taller top. I like them both. Listen, one doesn't bake any better than the other. They both bake the same. So if you have a Dutch oven, that's really all you need. Now you need something that can hold up to high heat because sourdough bakes at like 450 degrees for an hour. I have used, sometimes I'll make it in a loaf pan, but you're going to have a lid on that loaf pan. So you need 2 of the same size loaf pans, and you can put it in that loaf pan and use the other pan as your lid. You can do that. So there are lots of things you can do to make it work. You don't have to go buy a bunch of stuff. This was given to me as a gift, and that's the only reason that I have that. But let's bake a loaf of jalapeno cheddar sourdough. Now, I also use these, and this is called a bread sling. And I like to use this because I don't like to use parchment paper in it. So I just drop that in the bottom there just like that, and then pop my bread in it, and then and put the lid on. And then when the bread is done, I can just pull the bread out just like that. And this fits both of these. And I have like 10 of these slings so that I can do it all. But this makes it perfect. I don't like using parchment paper. You can use parchment paper. If you use parchment paper, make sure that you have floured it good or it will stick to your bread. So let's bake a loaf of sourdough, jalapeno cheddar sourdough. And I'll bake it in the Dutch oven because that's probably what most of y'all have. So let's get to it. All right, so if you can see, I just put my bread in there. And I'm just going to score it. And you want to score it really deep. You got to have deep pockets. There must be a delivery man because my dogs are going nuts. You want to have it scored deep so that steam can come out. So if you can see, I've scored it pretty deep there. Now we'll bake it for an hour. All right, y'all. So I'm just taking this sourdough bread out of the oven. Let's see how she did. Ooh, let's put that top lid there. Now listen, you cannot get a hold of these like with your hands because they are hot, hot, hot. They've been in a 450 degree oven for an hour. All right, here we go. Look at that. Look how good that looks. So generally what I do is I just set it on my cooling rack and then just let it cool. Now listen, excuse me. Look at this jalapeno cheddar bread. Oh, it looks so good. Sourdough needs to cool for at least an hour before you cut it. If you cut it as soon as it comes out of the oven, the inside is going to be probably a little gummy. You don't want that because it continues to cook while it sits here. So let it sit for at least an hour. Sometimes we have trouble with that because we love some warm bread. But trust me, after an hour, it'll still be real warm. It's going to be really warm. When we bring Jim in here and slice it in an hour, it's going to be warm. Let's come back when it cools off. All right, y'all. So we've got our loaf of sourdough here, and it has cooled off, and Jim's standing here waiting for a piece of it. But some of y'all were asking me, someone said that they could barely even cut through their sourdough bread because it was so tough. Now, sourdough has a crust, so it is going to be tough, but let me show you how I cut sourdough bread. So I will generally cut it straight down the center. Now see, it's not too hard to cut through. And somebody asked me to open it up and show you what the inside looked like. So there you go. But then here's how I cut my sourdough bread. Because if you cut it like this, now we do like long slices sometimes. But sometimes it kind of tries to flatten it out. I will sit it down straight like that and then cut it like this. And especially for Jim because he loves an end piece.
I like the end piece.
So he's going to get that end piece there. And you can cut, you can cut your long slices if you want them, just like this. But there you go. That's our sourdough bread, and that's how I bake my sourdough bread, right in a Dutch oven. And just look how pretty. I could actually put way more jalapenos and cheddar in that, but it's perfect. It's still warm, right? You can taste it, baby.
Yeah, put a little bit of butter on there.
Mama's staying away from bread, y'all. I've had 0 carbs today.
All right.
This is tempting though. When I smell it, just smells so good.
Great.
I just want to eat it.
Yeah, I like that crust. I always like the end piece.
Now I make a sandwich, a sourdough sandwich bread, and it's very soft. So it's like in a loaf pan, and I might show you all that sometime too.
I've got some jalapeno and cheese right there.
He's gonna have more than one piece, I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. There you go. Bye now.